When I was 15 years old and I had just got my driver's permit, my grandfather was the one who taught me how to drive, along with my stepfather. And he asked me, and he said, Taryn, when you get your driver's license, are you going to drive fast or are you going to drive slow? And I whipped my neck around so fast and I said, I'm going to drive much faster than you, Pawpaw. You see, my grandfather was a slow driver. He was a slow driver. And so in this video, I want to give you some scenarios about how you drive and the road rage that you may have, how it could be possibly showing up in the world. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Coach T. Taryn, like Karen, but with a T, spelled just a little differently for those of you who don't know me. Please make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you're looking for more motivational messages and if you're struggling and need help with growing your business. So my grandfather, Pawpaw was a man of chivalry and he did everything with just taste and class. Pawpaw was a very slow driver. And that was how Pawpaw showed up to the world. He was the type of person who would allow, if there's ducks crossing, he's definitely going to allow the ducks to cross and old ladies to cross in front. Man of chivalry. That's how he showed up in the world. We could be on the highway driving and our exit was right there. But he was the type of person who would prefer to go a longer way because he would say, when I get off this exit, there's a stop sign that I don't even want to be at because maybe it takes too long, or, I don't want to run the risk of my car going on this street that has potholes. And so it would frustrate me. And I'm like, we could have gotten off right here and we're going all the way around the corner, down the block and taking an extra 10 minutes to get home. He was very cautious. You could not hit the volume button on the TV. You have to get the remote. And if he saw you starting to get up there to change that channel or turn up the value on the TV, he would get to hollering, oh, don't touch it. You're going to mess up the TV. I mean, you know that your television has a set channel that it needs to be on. For us, it was channel 3. It needed to be on channel 3 to have our cable and shows pop up. God forbid the channel just happened to get to 2 and it showed a fuzzy. He would go crazy thinking that something was wrong. So my grandfather never really took risks. He wouldn't use the computer to pay a bill. He would get up early in the morning, write out the check, and go directly down to the electric company to make sure he's handing somebody a check. He was just cautious like that. And how he was cautious in the world was exactly how he was driving. People would blow at him all the time because he was going so slow. So when I got my driver's license, I watched my mom drive, okay? And she had a lead foot. I mean, she would gun it and just go. And I always admired how my mom drove. I thought she could get out of situations, really navigate really quickly. And now that I'm saying it, my mom can navigate out of situations really well. And that transferred on to me. And when I drive, I can automatically see out the corner of my eye if something's going wrong and I need to move or navigate. So that's how my mother drove. And I was going fast. I would move really, really fast. And that's also how my mother showed up to the world. Fast pace, where sometimes she may not get all of the facts. And so that would be my case. I would drive so fast that I would miss things. I would miss the small details. So fast drivers, are you a fast driver? You move so fast that you miss small details. Do you move so fast that you potentially put yourself at risk? And I was a fast driver, fast, and my road rage would show up. Somebody cut me off, I'm PO'd and I gotta go get them. Right, like on the Madea movie, if you ever seen, I can't remember the title of it, but there's Madea and there's Cora, and they're in a situation where there's road rage about to happen, and this guy cuts Cora off like in the middle of it. If you've seen that movie, make sure you heart this video, give this video a thumbs up. And so Madea says, what are you gonna do, Cora? You need to get that fool. And she says, no, I got my WWJD bracelet. What would Jesus do? And Madea says, no, Cora, you need to get that fool. You need to get that fool. Madea, if you're a fan of the movies, you understand that Madea don't play. Madea shows up and she's going to get you before you can get her. So fast drivers, do you always find yourself in rage? Do you always find yourself missing small things? Do you always find yourself maybe putting yourself as well as others at risk? Evaluate, take inventory of yourself and see if that's you. I'll tell you another story. I was downtown in Kentucky. There was a roundabout and it had different sections, a new roundabout that they just put on the street, and it had different sections where you can enter into the street. And so it was my turn to enter into the street. And so I put on my signal and I was getting ready to go. That Camry that came in, darted in front of me and I almost hit this car. And so immediately what I did is I blew my horn and I put my horn and it was beep, beep, beep for about 30 seconds up the street. I was so upset. My wife is cracking up like, you don't know who, this person could be crazy. I didn't care. This person cut me off and I had to go get them. And so I finally sped up, and after I stopped beeping, I got over in another lane real aggressively, and I sped up next to the car, and I looked over, and lo and behold, it was an elderly lady in that car. I felt awful. Can you imagine how terrible I felt honking my horn for 30 seconds at this little old lady? She had her window down. I said, ma'am, do you know you almost just hit me? And she said, no. And this little look that just melted, and I felt so bad. My heart it felt like it stopped. And I said, okay, man, well, you be careful, okay? And she said, okay. And so it really was a defining moment because I'm like, this is terrible. And there have been so many times where I was road raging and trying to switch lanes to catch somebody. There have been times where people have drove so crazy that I've sped out to try to catch them and called the police. Hashtag don't play with T. I had to think about that situation with the old lady. I felt so bad that I had to stop and take inventory of myself. Do I show up like this to the world? And the answer was absolutely. Anytime somebody says something that I don't agree with, I immediately jump and get defensive. Anytime I feel somebody's done me wrong, I feel like, I'm not gonna let it happen again. Let me let them know right now that I didn't like it so that it doesn't happen again. And that's how I showed up to that lady. And I said, this is enough. I cannot continue to do this, putting myself at risk, putting my wife at risk, and putting anybody else at risk too. And I understood that I held on to things. Like I would hold on all the way. Somebody would cut me off and I would talk about it so bad until I got home. I would talk about it for 10 minutes. Now, do you think the person that I'm talking about is still talking about me? And then I want to tell my wife and I want to go home and tell everybody, do you know what this dude did to cut me off? And I remember I was listening to a Zig Ziglar motivational seminar in my car, maybe about 2 years ago now. And he said, you get into this person cuts you off and you get into this mood and you want to tell her about it, him about it, this person about it, everybody about it. And that person is gone about their business and gone about their life. And you're still huffing and puffing about what they just did on the road to you. And he says, so the next time that happens, or say that you have cut someone off and you know you made a mistake. How about you just throw your hand up and say, hi, or I'm so sorry. When you feel guilty for even wanting to attack that person. So take inventory. Are you a driver like myself? I had to make the correction. Will you? Are you a driver that constantly is switching lanes? You're in the slow lane and then somebody's going so slow, you got to get over to the middle lane and then you got to get over to the fast lane. And then you get in the fast lane and somebody in the fast lane is going like they're in the slow lane as you zip back over. Do you show up in the world as someone who lacks patience from your constant switching lanes? Are you someone who shows up in the world and does one thing but doesn't complete it and moves on to the next thing? Because you're constantly switching, you're constantly changing. Instead of focusing on one thing, focusing in on one lane. Now understand, it may take a couple of lanes to get to where you need to get to. But are you switching so much that you don't even allow the breakthrough to happen for that other car that may be in front of you moving slow to get out of your way? You see, when you get focused and you have this and you have the drive and you have the same vision and you're moving with the right intention, other people will get out of your way. Anytime I'm in the fast lane and somebody's in the back of me and they're riding me, I say they'll move. They'll either move themselves. I don't have to switch. I'm going the speed limit. They're in a rush. They're in a rut. They're in a hurry for whatever reason, but they'll move. And then we have our last driver, which is the distracted driver. The distracted driver can be a fun driver, but they definitely put you at risk. They're the one who is driving with the knee and eating that hamburger, all right, and switching gears at the same time. They're the driver that always has maybe 2 or 3 people and have that radio playing and they are just jigging and moving and dancing and just nothing. They care about nothing than the fun that they're having. With messing with the radio, gotta switch the channel. Maybe can't even move, can't even start the car until they find the right radio station, until they find the right song. This is the distracted driver. The distracted driver is constantly getting blown at because they're constantly looking at their phone, getting distracted by the phone. And so every time they do that, they got somebody behind them. Beep, 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 beep. And they're like, oh, I gotta go. It's time for me to go. So do you show up in the world, distracted driver, as someone who's always distracted by things? And maybe not just by things, but by people. Your environment, you have so many things around you that you allow these little things to distract you from the objective. And maybe you have friends that say, hey, they call you on the phone and they're like, hey, you want to go out to the club tonight? Or, hey, do you want to go to this movie with me? Hey, you want to go shopping with me right now? Hey, you want to run to the Apple store with me? And you say, yes, absolutely. Evaluate the circle and the distractions that are in front of you. Because if you're distracted by 10 broke people, you are going to be the 11th broke person. Now, if you're distracted by 10 millionaires, well, you're definitely going to be the 11th millionaire. So I ask you, take inventory of how you drive. Let's be brave and let's comment how you drive, because maybe that's how you're showing up into the world. But this is okay if you are a slow driver, a cautious driver, a fast driver, a distracted driver. You get the chance to take inventory and do something different, because when you know better, you can do better. And when you do better, you definitely can have better. Hey, this is Big Coach T, Taryn like Karen, but with a T, spelled just a little differently for those of you who don't know me. Please click the links in the description box below so that we can connect on social media. And please make sure that you check out my website, www.earnwithcoacht.life, which will also be included in the description box below. Have a beast day. Please make sure you're working on all your goals, all your dreams, and living life with a purpose, because that is the only thing that matters. Peace.